I'll tell you how it went down. The afternoon, everything I believed about home got stress tested on my own driveway. We just pulled back into River Point Sunlow, that warm honey light across Cedar Crest Lane, when I saw three cruisers parked crooked on my grass like they paid the mortgage. The sirens weren't even on anymore, just those red-blue pulses washing our windows. And then I saw it, my daughter Zora's piano bench, sitting on the lawn, one leg twisted like a sprained ankle. Our wedding photo face up in the dirt. A plastic bin labeled winter in my wife's handwriting, spilled open like someone shook our seasons out on the ground. I put the SUV in park, stepped out slow, keys raised, truce flag, not a weapon. Lena squeezed the door frame to steady herself. Zora stayed in the back seat watching the officers walk in and out of our front door, carrying our lifelike props for somebody else's show. The one in charge, Officer Brad Kincaid, jaw-locked buzz cut that looked like it could draw a blood cut across my lawn. Sir, active eviction. Move along, this is our home. I kept my voice low. We just got back from vacation. He looked past my keys like you look past flyers on light poles. We got a report of suspicious activity. Multiple individuals removing items. Suspicious activity. Those were the words they used while they set our things in the grass. Zora cracked her door, both hands visible, like kids are taught now. That's my piano, she said, voice shaking but clear. Let the adults handle this, Kincaid snapped, not loud, just mean. There's a way some folks say adults that makes you feel 12 no matter what age you are. I stepped forward, 1 foot, and a younger officer slid his hand to his cuffs. Sir, stay back or you will be detained. Not a shout, just a script, but my porch suddenly felt like a border crossing and my lawn like no man's land. I kept my body angled toward Lena, kept Zora in my periphery. We live here, I said, 8 years. Deed mortgage tax receipts. Our passports, still warm from the gate printer, are in the glove box. I laid the folder on the hood paperwork lined up like evidence in a case about my own life. Kincaid glanced at it the way you glance at a menu when you already know what you're ordering. Anyone can prepare documents. He said, eyes sliding back to my door. Boots thudded up and down my steps. Radios chirped, a camera flashed as an officer documented my lamp like it was contraband. The neighbors were out without being out, blinds tilted, phones angled just so. A couple of kids tying shoes on the sidewalk with their cameras already rolling. The silence of a neighborhood pretending to mind its business. Where is your order, Lena asked. Calm, blade sharp. You are removing our property from our home. Where is the order? We're securing the property, Kincaid said, like the words could wrap the whole mess in bubble wrap. Securing, I repeated, looking at my wedding photo in the grass. Right. Then he said a sentence that chilled the air. The caller described the inside perfectly. The inside. Perfectly. You could feel it, a ripple across the street, a quick tilt in every blind. I looked down Cedar Crest Lane and knew exactly which window had that everlasting sliver open. Eileen Parkhurst, retired HOA board. Pearls at block parties smile that never quite made it to the eyes. Before I could ask another question more, sirens cut through the quiet. A fourth cruiser screeched to a stop, and Captain Miriam Torres stepped out, posture of a lifetime being watched. Kincaid straightened like a soldier seeing the general. He rattled off his version. Torres listened, face blank enough to be a mirror. Captain, I said steady, what legal order authorizes you to remove property from a residence without a warrant in hand? Proper channels will determine that, she said. Smooth. Practiced. That's not an order, I said. That's a deferral. Zora tugged my sleeve, whisper thin. Dad, the cameras. The red light's dead. The app won't connect. Someone killed the system. I felt it in my teeth. Mistakes happen. Systems go down. But a dead LED and an offline app the day my house gets secured, that's a fork in the road with footprints all over it. Torres heard Zora and something flickered behind the captain's eyes. Irritation, calculation, both. We'll note the report, she said. Note it, I said, and stop what's happening. The radios buzzed in reply, that neutral language that always seems to lean toward whoever's wearing the most gear. My phone started buzzing too. City Hall. I silenced it, then it rang again. I didn't need to explain who was calling. Everybody could hear the impatience in the way it kept lighting my palm. Kincaid's hand hovered over his cuffs again. Sir, you're obstructing. We are standing on our driveway. Zora stepped between us before I could stop her. 16 trembling brave anyway. You can't arrest my dad, she said, voice thin but unbroken. A young officer on the porch misread my microstep to shield her, and his palm drifted toward his holster. Ripple of panic through the crowd. Someone whispered, "Don't to their own screen." I let my breath out, slow, room full of glass, and said, "Call your commanding officer now." Kincaid's jaw clenched, then one step back. That tiny retreat saved the night from a different ending. And for a second, I heard what I needed to do as clearly as if someone said it in my ear. Family first, truth next. I turned to the street, let the camera lights paint my face. I am Darius Cole. I said each word measured unshakable. This is my home, and this is an unlawful violation of our rights. Phones lowered. Even the wind listened. I require that every second of this incident be recorded and transmitted to the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division now. Nothing hidden, nothing buried. Torres didn't blink. She did signal to an officer to start a formal log. News vans screeched up like they'd been waiting around the corner. The young cop with the camera kept looking from me to the captain, waiting for a cue that wasn't coming. Then another whisper, this one into Torres' ear. The caller was Eileen Parkhurst. 3 houses down. Former HOA board. She had old floor plans. That's how she knew the inside. The cameras adored the reveal. Torres faced the mic's voice tight. The call originated from Mrs. Parkhurst. She retained HOA floor plans. The street made that half-gasp, half-growl sound people make when a mask finally slips. We watched her door open with the slow care of someone stepping into a photograph. Cardigan pearls, chin level. She folded her hands like church. I just wanted to protect the neighborhood, she said, smooth as cream. Lena didn't raise her voice. We are your neighborhood, she said, pointing to Zora's piano keys, catching the strobe to our photo with the paper torn like skin. My daughter's music is your neighborhood. Our marriage is your neighborhood. Did you ever protect us? Eileen blinked fast. I saw movement, people carrying things. It didn't look right. People carrying their own things, I said. Or people who didn't look right to you. A murmur rolled across Cedar Crest, soft hot like pavement after rain. A reporter mouthed former HOA to a producer. Phones rose higher. Somewhere a kid whispered, say her name, and a few folks did just once, like a verdict, Eileen Parkhurst. We'll take your statement, under penalty of law, Torres said, formality snapping back like elastic. She turned to me, then to the lawn. In her face, I saw the moment authority shifts into accountability. Like cloud cover sliding off the sun, you don't clap, you just know it happened. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. Here's how this proceeds, I said, calm, surgical. Internal Affairs opens tonight. The city attorney coordinates with DOJ. A civil action for a false report. And every item on this lawn goes back inside intact. Torres squared to the camera's fatigue under steel. Effective immediately, she said, Officer Brad Kincaid is suspended pending federal investigation. A ripple through the crowd, phones lifting like a tide. Officers started carrying things back inside, slower, careful now. The same hands that scattered our life tried to reassemble it. We stepped over the threshold and the world narrowed to hallway light and dust motes. The small sound Zora made when she saw it. Her journal lock, broken pages bent like wings in mid-beat. They read my life, she said, voice flat. Lena wrapped her not as a shield, more like a brace. They can't break. Who we are, baby. They can't. Out on the curb, the story went national. Mayor's family mistakenly evicted, though titles were the least important part of what happened. Inside, I picked up Zora's journal like it was fragile evidence of something worth defending. Spine broken, but still a book. I looked at my daughter, then at Lena, then back at the door. We'll cooperate, I told the cameras standing where everyone could see. But we will not trade apologies for accountability. Our home is not a stage for someone else's fear. Our child's words are not a crime scene. A month later, Cedar Crest felt different, not glossy, just honest. The council passed a civilian oversight board with real subpoena power, no more fox guarding the henhouse. At the podium, I didn't talk like a politician. I talked like a father who had paid the bill for delay. Zora spoke two no-notes, voice steady. We deserve to feel safe in our own homes, she said, not because of who we know, but because we're people. That should be enough. In the back, a young officer, the same one whose hand had hovered near his holster, stood up and owned his silence. That night, he said, I saw things that didn't sit right. I stayed quiet because that was the habit. I won't do that again. You could feel a door open in that room. Not a swinging gate, more like a luck finally hearing the right key. And Eileen, her curtains don't sit at that judgment sliver anymore. Maybe she learned something. Maybe she just learned she could be seen. Sometimes I stand in the driveway and run my hand along the hood of the SUV, listen to Zora practice with the window open, hear the dog 2 streets over doing his job. The red LED on the camera blinks like a heartbeat now. I don't stare at it. I just notice it alive again. If you watch this and felt your stomach drop because you've lived some version of it, tell us. Was the suspension enough? Are oversight boards real accountability or just new paperwork? Where's the line between protecting the neighborhood and policing who belongs? Drop your story in the comments. What's right, what's wrong, what you've seen with your own eyes. Like the video, share it with someone who needs a reminder that home means something, and subscribe because we're going to keep telling the truth until the truth is ordinary again.